Okay, so I've got some arrows, and I was having a little bit of contact. These are probably the most high profile vanes. These are the AAE Max Hunters, and they honestly, I get more over the years that I've shot them. I've got more fletching contact from these than I actually do from blazers. I've got a blazer right here. I'll show you. So even though it states they have the same, almost the same height, for some reason I don't know why I get more helical on them, and I don't know, I just seem like I get some contact. So what I'm doing is I've got some of these tack vanes, these 2.75 inch tack vanes. They're 0.47. These are listed, I think, at 0.56. So these are almost a tenth. What would that be? No. Yeah, like a tenth of an inch shorter. And I'm going to go to a 4-fletch configuration. And so when you look at it from that, you get the same sort of width. But what happens is you can shoot a 4-fletch like that, and you're shooting these like this. So you're all the contact's coming from that vane right there, whether it's down or whether it's towards your cable guard, the contact's coming over there. So even though I'm going to probably more surface area and vanes, because I'm going to shoot them the way that you can orient them like this, you don't get contact on the bottom or on the sides. So I'm going to go to a 4-fletch, but the main thing is so some people are scared to take their vanes off. It's really easy if you got a wrap, because you can put a heat gun on it, or you can just set them in boiling water, and that wrap will loosen up. And a lot of times when you pull the wrap off, the vanes will come off, because the super glue is kind of adhered to the wrap, not to the carbon. But this is what people get nervous about. When it's adhered to the carbon, they're like, man, I don't want to take something to my will it hurt the arrows or weaken or anything like that? So this is what I do. I get the knock out, because I don't want to hit my knock with a knife or X-Acto blade. And then instead of taking a pocket knife that's really sharp, I take a razor knife that's really dull. And the blade is thinner, and even when it's dull, it's got you just want to grab a hold of this. And a lot of times, before you do this, you might try pulling them off. You might get a set of pliers and something that you can get a strong enough grip on these with, and pull them off. And then you're not having to use a blade, period. But if you can get up underneath them, you can pull them off by hand. That's a bad sign. That it shouldn't come off that easy. But these have been on here for like a few years, and they sit out in the garage and been through some hot and cold. So then what I'll do is take this, and I'm not putting any pressure. I'm basically setting it on there and just lifting up on the back to give it a little bit of an angle. And I'm not coming in steep and pushing down. The weight of this little cheap razor knife is all the weight I'm putting on it. I'm doing more scraping than anything. I'm feeling around so that it'll grab that glue. And when you hang that glue, it'll flick it up. Don't do like this, because I've had it come in my eyes before. But kind of go away from you. And if you go off the end, just start over. That's kind of why I took the knock out, because I didn't want to gouge it. As soon as if you went like this, it would grab that plastic and gouge it for some reason. It doesn't really want to do it to the carbon arrows. Hey, Gemma. So all I'm doing is basically I'm looking for, I've got good lighting, and I'm just looking for rubber in the vane, or I'm looking for glue. I know I just said don't go towards you, but you might have to change direction to get all the glue. If you can see it, but you can't feel it with the blade, come the other way, and sometimes it'll pick it up. But I mean, I'm putting no pressure down at all. And so then every now and then check it. And I can still see a little bit of glue on it. You don't have to get 100% of the glue, to be honest. Because what I'm about to do in a minute will get the remainder of that. As long as you rough it up, score it up where the acetone can penetrate it and get to it. So anyway, that's as good as it's going to get. If you want to take it a step further, get some worn out 320. This is 320 that I've been using for other stuff. And you can sand it off of there and rough it up, but the best way, because this also gets the oil from the veins, the oil from any leftover from the glue, any oil from the pan. Gemma agrees with me. This is the other reason you want to, so I put my hand over the wrap to protect it because I'm going to go real fast. This is the other reason you want to have the knock out of there, because this will melt your knock. It'll kind of crystallize it and make it look hazy looking. It'll frost anything plastic. And if it gets on this logo, it'll take it off. I think in one of my other videos I showed you how to take off that watermark. So notice I'm not holding it in one place. I'm not soaking it. I didn't dip it. Some people, dip it in. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just putting it on there, going real fast, getting it off. And I mean, it looks as clean as it would look any other. And if you have if you know the spine, some companies spine align them. Sometimes you can spine test them and mark a little mark with your paint pen. Because I'm doing 4 fletch, I'm not that worried about it. Because what I'll do is when I get done and shoot them, I'll shoot them once like this, whichever ones are not grouping, I'll turn it, quarter turn, and you can basically knock tune them just by turning a quarter turn. Anyways, the reason I've got these tack veins all laid out is because I'm trying to pick the straightest ones. It's a harder material, it's a harder plastic, and which is good, I like, but they set in this packaging, and some of them are kind of bent. And I'm not gonna make arrows with ones that look like that, you know what I mean? I'm going through them all, and I'm kind of picking out the ones that are straight, and then basically from here you're just building. Get a straight one, and I'll show you. From here you're just building a regular arrow, and I'll show you. I've already got 2 on here. I've got my bitzenburger set up. I have to do 4 fletch on this because my little jig that I love, my Arizona Easy Fletch, they come in 3. So maybe one day they'll make a 4. But I've got a reference mark on here, and I decided that, where I wanted it, this reference mark based on how far I wanted you really always want them as far to the back of the arrow as you can. It's gonna steer, the further back, the better it steers. The further forward up on this, the less steering you're gonna get out of your veins. So then I take where I can see. And I'm not running a bead, I'm like smearing it. Gemma wants to try to help me. So get a good even on there. Like I said, this isn't, I've been over this before, but I'll put it on there before it's on the arrow. Then I go all the way to the back, and then I press evenly. And I see that it's all got good contact. So leave it for about 15 minutes. Anyways, I'm gonna do that to the rest of them, and then I'll have a whole set of 4 fletched, and we're gonna see how those shoot. Thanks.